December 12, 2020, Cincinnati, Ohio, 3:30 a.m. The Purple People Bridge connects Newport, Kentucky to downtown Cincinnati, Ohio. In the early morning hours, a security guard was walking around it when he saw a large, bulky bag near the bridge. He stopped for a moment, debating on carrying on, but something about it bothered him. He went over and nudged it with his foot. It was heavy and fell over, hitting the ground with a thud. Fortunately, the bag avoided the water, but it was close to going in. He hesitated, but went down to take a closer look. The bag had started to open, and he said it looked like maybe some props from Halloween, a mannequin perhaps, but it wasn't.
Cincinnati 911, what is the address for your emergency?
I found a dead body. Somebody threw a bag, like on the edge of the bridge, and my curiosity got the best of me, so I got up there and knocked it down, and it was heavy. It hit the ground. It's like a body bag. Yeah, I'm almost 60 years old, and I've never had anything like this.
Right.
I never thought, this is crazy.
An autopsy confirmed the woman had been stabbed to death and had been killed about a week earlier. Next to her body was a Paw Patrol blanket covered in blood. As they were trying to identify her, around the same time, Antonio Hughes was talking to the police himself. He was worried about his 3-year-old son, Nylo. He hadn't seen him since the 4th of December and couldn't get hold of his ex either. His ex was 29-year-old Nyteisha Lattimore, and it wasn't just him that couldn't get hold of her. No one had heard from her since December the 4th either. Connecting the dots, the woman on the bridge was soon identified as Nyteisha, but her 3-year-old son was nowhere to be found. So who had done this to Nyteisha, and where was Nylo? Nyteisha's aunt said she always felt more like a sister to her. She was loyal, protective, and always someone people could go to for advice. She was a firecracker, she said. Nyteisha was a proud mother to 9-year-old Nico and 3-year-old Nylo. She and Nylo were glued at the hip, and family said they were the cutest little double act. Nylo would always want to be picked up so he could hold her face and kiss her. Although she was no longer with Antonio, they were all still close, and he loved seeing his little boy every chance he could. Antonio said Nylo could be a little timid, but was very sweet and very caring. He loved dressing up, Paw Patrol, Hot Wheels, and they would always watch SpongeBob SquarePants together. If you see him right now, he would be shy, he would be nervous, he would hide. But at the end of the day, once he gets to know you, he's a sweet kid. You'd love him, he said.
This is a WCPO 9 breaking news alert.
And we are on top of breaking news right now along the Ohio River in downtown Cincinnati, where a young mom's body was dumped, stabbed repeatedly. Her 3-year-old son is still missing at this hour. There has been a frantic search for that little boy for the past several hours. Let's get right out to reporter Josh Bazan live near the Purple People Bridge. Josh, you just saw search crews pull out of the Ohio River a little bit ago.
The family members, as you say, came down here where police found the body of 29-year-old Nyteisha Lattimore. There's no other sign of the woman's missing son. A dive team with the Hamilton County Police Association Underwater Search and Recovery Unit combed the bottom of the Ohio River near the base of the Purple People Bridge Sunday afternoon. After more than an hour in the water, they cleared out. Cincinnati police did not provide any more information on scene. We know this is near the location where officers found Lattimore after she was stabbed to death. This is 3-year-old Nylo Lattimore. Cincinnati police put out a missing persons alert for the boy Saturday. Cincinnati police said the boy was last seen December 4th, and they are asking the public to help locate him. Anyone with information should call the Cincinnati Police Department.
Authorities wasted no time in getting some intensive searches going for the 3-year-old. They were mainly focused around the bridge and the river. #Find Nylo was trending, and people in the area were coming together to help in any way they could.
It's been the only thing on my mind since I found out, and my wife and I have both lost a couple of nights of sleep.
Chad Hagler lives in the same building as 3-year-old Nylo Lattimore, who he says is always smiling, always happy.
Energetic, full of life. He's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart.
My main concern right now is that the little boy is somehow found safe.
While also processing the unthinkable.
Anybody dying is heartbreaking, but for a little boy to lose their mom and then not know where that little kid is it's devastating.
Pay attention. You know, we've gotten into a day and age where we don't know our neighbors. We don't know who's around us. And as it's proven here, it can be deadly.
Things became more troubling when they found out it was Nylo's blood on the Paw Patrol blanket found with his mother. They soon found a pushchair floating in the river. It was Nylo's. More searches were going on around Nyteisha's apartment when her aunt found some concerning things in the bins outside.
And we came across this garbage can that had some shower curtains that looked like it got blood in it. And we just want to have a police officer come out here and look at this because it looks like it got tissue in it.
Some neighbours said they heard screaming on the night of December the 5th, and Nyteisha's neighbour below her even called the maintenance team for the building when she saw brownish, reddy water leaking through the ceiling. The first person police wanted to talk to was 20-year-old Deshaun Brown. Nyteisha had been seeing Deshaun, but they had been on and off. He did have a criminal record, having been convicted of assault at the start of 2020, and had past charges for obstructing official business and falsification. As the search for Nylo continued, police searched for a motive. And it wasn't long before one of Deshaun's friends gave them one.
Cincinnati police have arrested 20-year-old Deshaun Brown for murder. In that situation, Montgomery County court records show Brown is from Trotwood and was on probation for a misdemeanor assault charge. Montgomery County was looking for him as recently as December 3rd after he missed 2 appearances as part of that probation.
Police placed Deshaun Brown under arrest on suspicion of murder. They were initially very quiet about the reasons behind his arrest, but they later said the way Deshaun had been talking to people and looking at his Google searches, he had been planning to kill Nyteisha and Nylo for a couple of months at least. They learned that Nyteisha found out she was pregnant with Deshaun's baby sometime in the summer, but suffered a miscarriage. Deshaun told friends that he was upset and angry, thinking that she had killed the baby, and it was all intentional. He told people he wanted to retaliate, and decided he was not only going to hurt her, but Nylo too. The district attorney did a press conference and it was clear just how much this case had affected him. He said they couldn't go into all the details behind how they knew what they did, but it would be coming out at trial. Using CCTV, phone data, internet searches and first-hand accounts, they soon had a rough timeline. Little is known about what happened inside Nyteisha's apartment on December the 5th, but Deshaun stabbed her to death and then went on her phone. He posted to her Facebook account, pretending to be her, with one post reading, "I love him forever, Deshaun Brown." He stuffed her under the bed and left the building, returning the next day to take Nylo out in his pushchair. He walked to the river and threw him in his chair. They couldn't reveal how they knew this, but they knew that Nylo was alive when he was thrown in. He stayed away from the apartment for the next 5 days, and during this time he was making Google searches for cleaning products, bridges in Cincinnati, and how to clean up blood. He also bought a body bag on eBay. On December the 11th at 9:45 at night, CCTV showed Deshaun carrying Nyteisha's body in the body bag through the hallway of her apartment building. He then jumped in an Uber and went to the river. The Uber driver said he told him he was moving house. He made an attempt to throw Nyteisha into the water, but for some reason he didn't, so he left her on the side in the body bag.
The Hamilton County Grand Jury has just returned an indictment against Deshaun Brown for the murder of Nyteisha Lattimore and Nylo Lattimore. This charge that the grand jury returned includes the potential penalty of death for what he did to these 2 people. And I will say, I want to make an opening comment about the Cincinnati Police Department. They are stars. They really are. And people don't realize how good we have it here in Cincinnati to have this type of police force. really helping us live our lives. I want to mention this too. I would be remiss if I didn't tell the public, if you know this guy or you know someone who dated him that all of a sudden disappeared, it would be very helpful to law enforcement to know that. It's very hard to believe that, at least on a personal level, this act that he committed is beyond. I do get upset about it, and I'll be honest with you, when it involves children, I do. I know you're going to be angry with me, but I can't get into specifics right now. There are things that will come out at trial. Obviously, this is going to be a trial because it's a death penalty case. He didn't want Nylo's existence traced back to him after he killed Nylo's mother. And so he made a choice. You know, he made a choice, and he decided that this little boy's life wasn't worth what he had done to the mom and going to prison for the rest of his life. And he chose to kill Nylo in an incredibly barbaric method. And I still have nightmares about this. And it's a gruesome case. I cannot even imagine what that little boy was going through. Anyway, any other questions? Yes.
Although they had the facts, they were still missing Nylo. Cincinnati police and volunteer groups had now searched more than 180 miles of the river. As well as being in the water, they had people on horseback, with dogs and in helicopters. They were also looking for a 6-year-old missing boy named James Hutchinson at the same time, so the area was filled with anxious people working tirelessly and praying for something positive.
The search for 6-year-old James Hutchinson and 3-year-old Nylo Lattimore continues.
These search crews won't be back out until it is safe to do so once again due to the weather. They have identified several locations where they'll continue. Darkness falls on the Ohio River. Incoming rain adds to the challenge.
Credit be given to those that risk their lives to go into this river, which, while it looks like it's calm, is really under the water, going very, very fast, and is very a dangerous situation for those folks that are risking their lives to help me.
Fighting against the fast currents on a river over 50 metres deep was a huge challenge. But after so many days, police confirmed what everyone else was thinking. It was a recovery mission, and 3-year-old Nylo was presumed dead. Tracy Campbell was part of one of the search and rescue teams and said, "We hit all 3 states, Ohio, Kentucky and Indiana. Mounted, drone, water patrol. We gave it our all." Antonio, Nylo's dad, said, "Don't give up on James. Don't give up on Nylo. Always keep them in your mind and heart."
I don't want to deal with not finding my son. Our son, me and Nyteisha's son.
He's holding on the hope that one day his son Nylo Lattimore will be found.
I'll be at the river and just be thinking, like, wow, my son. As I'm ever going to bury my son. There was no reason. No reason. There wasn't no serious reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, you know, she trusted him. And it's messed up in the mind that, you know, that he didn't understand that she trusted him. And, you know, even with my son, that it hurt me the most. I just want people, you know, don't give up on James, don't give up on Nylo, you know what I'm saying? Just always keep me in your minds and heart, you know, like, we think about our kids every day. We want our kids home. We want at least proper burial for our kids.
Deshaun Brown was charged and soon indicted on 2 counts of aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, and gross abuse of a corpse. He pleaded not guilty to everything. In court, he was argumentative and disrespectful, with the judge often having to tell him to cool down and be respectful.
You letting all these people in here and shit, you know what I'm saying though, like you keep letting all these people in here with all these cameras and shit, perking and shit. I don't like that shit.
Be cool.
And then that's why I ain't want to come here. That's why I refused. But y'all gonna blame it on me and try to twist it on me. Feel me? Trying to twist narratives and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that shit.
Be cool. Keep in touch with your lawyers. Keep your head about you. Be cool. And we'll see you on March 11th.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
You got it.
It was now a very sombre and sad Christmas day. Family and friends gathered by the bridge. They lit candles, put up a small Christmas tree, and left a big stuffed bear near a picture of Nylo and Nyteisha.
Happy birthday, dear Nylo.
On what would have been Nylo's 4th birthday,
To you.
everyone got together to eat cake, open gifts, and play with his favourite toys. Deshawn had been denied bail, and his defence team were hoping for him either to be found not competent to stand trial, or if he was, the death penalty would be taken off the table. They said he suffered from a severe mental illness at the time of the offence as charged, and that severe mental illness significantly impaired his capacity to exercise his rational judgment. They told the judge he had bipolar disorder, and this is one of the 4 conditions named in Ohio law that can make someone ineligible for the death penalty. The other conditions are schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, and delusional disorder. But just as the defence had done their evaluations, so had the prosecution, and their psychologist had a very different opinion.
I did not find any evidence from speaking with him or the other collateral sources of information of any significant disturbances of thought, mood, orientation, perception, or memory.
Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters said he was not only pushing for him to have his day in court, but he wanted the death penalty on the table. He said, "In all my years as a prosecutor, I have never seen such a cold-blooded act committed against an innocent woman and her 3-year-old baby." Throughout the United States, there are prosecutors who have chosen to never seek the death penalty. That's not going to happen here as long as I'm prosecutor for this county. I swore to enforce the laws of Ohio. Choosing what laws to enforce and not enforce is a dereliction of duty. We will never stop searching for Nylo. But in the meantime, my office will prosecute Deshawn Brown to the fullest extent of the law for the unspeakable acts we believe he has committed. The judge agreed with the prosecution.
The defendant's motion to exclude the death penalty due to serious mental illness at the time of the alleged offense is hereby denied.
He was found competent to stand trial, and the motion to remove the death penalty as a sentence was denied. So it remains a possibility for him. Antonio, Nylo's dad, attended as many hearings as he could, and on one occasion he lunged at Deshawn in court and had to be taken out of the room. For this, he was sentenced to 7 days, with the judge later lowering it to 3. One of his friends said everything inside him, just the pain and everything, took over. He did what I think any of us would do. It has been more than 4 years since Nyteisha and Nylo were murdered, and with so many delays and mental health evaluations, Deshawn Brown is still awaiting trial. However, another date was set for early 2025. All we can hope is that Deshawn has his day in court and justice for Nyteisha and Nylo is served. It seems unlikely that Nylo's remains will ever be found, so being able to say goodbye to him and give him a proper burial alongside his mother has been snatched away from his family too. Thinking of their last moments is so upsetting, and although every case is undoubtedly awful, sometimes ones really take us back because of how cruel and evil they are. We don't know about you, but for us, this is definitely one of them.
If you'd like to support our channel and help us to continue to make content, please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. It helps us so much and we really appreciate it.